Hope you are all having fun time at Las Vegas and also at the reInvent. This is the only place where you can mix fun and learning. So hope you can make best out of both over the next 4 days. Before going deep into the session, I would like to understand how many of you ever dealt with mainframes, both from business and technology in the past and in currently? All right. How many of you excited about introducing GenAI to accelerate mainframe modernization? Okay, majority of the room. So you are at the right place. Imagine a day where you are all promoted, where you have a team of engineers joining your team, where you can prompt them to do all the tedious, labor-intensive, monotonous tasks, but you are continue to do still innovation and creative tasks. Is that a reality or a science fiction? Let's find out. With that, my name is MAM113. I lead the worldwide mainframe modernization at AWS. Today, I'm joined by Devesh Arora, who is Vice President at Platform Engineering at Marriott International. Here is our agenda for this session. First, we will try to explain the business case for mainframe modernization. Then we'll try to discuss about what is reimagine really means, why customers choose to reimagine, and how GenAI can really accelerate this reimagining the mainframe applications. And then Devesh will walk us through the Marriott journey, and then we'll wrap it up. So Gartner recently published Market Guide for Mainframe Modernization. In that, they clearly indicated that the organizations that start the mainframe modernization and pick the approach and the tool of choice by 2027 will be spending 50% less on their mainframe IT operations than their peers who haven't started that journey. Why? Here are the reasons. The technical debt of these applications and maintaining the legacy applications, the cost of maintaining these, and also the major part is the missed opportunities because we are unable to deliver to our business at the right time, at the right speed. What are the reasons and drivers for the mainframe modernization? During our conversations, we typically find as 3 factors. First one is the high cost of maintaining these platforms, both from the hardware and third-party software, which is running on these platforms, and also the CapEx models, because once you buy the mainframe at the peak capacity, whether you use it or not, you continue to spend. There is no elasticity that comes with it. You cannot scale in and scale out. Next, the increasing risks of the workforce that is managing and maintaining these applications. And would you be able to find the skills in the market in the future? And the technical debt of these applications. But the most important factor, we all understand about the cost and risks of maintaining these platforms. The most important factor that we hear from our customers is business innovation and agility, which is actually driving the most of the mainframe modernization that we talk to our customers today. Here are the top 3 industries where the majority of this reimagination is happening. Let's start with the financial services industry. The banks that we know 25 years back is different from the financial industry that we know. How we interact with these banks, 24/7 payments, how we apply for our applications, like whether it is a loan or a new credit card, and how you interact with these banks 24/7. And the automotive industry is also completely changing. Today, we have electric cars and a lot of personalization, and it's almost like a mini computer inside each of these electric cars, and as well as how you place the order for these vehicles. I'll give you an example, right? Recently, I placed an order for an electric vehicle. From the point in time of placing the order until the vehicle delivered to my home, I haven't spoken to a single person. I haven't even visited any dealership or any store. And even after the vehicle delivered, Every time I need a service, I always have to go to my mobile app, request the service, they come to my home and do the service. That is the kind of experience that customers are expecting these days. And finally, the travel and tourism industry. It's going through a lot of change where how you reserve your hotels and how you actually, when you check in, you don't even have to go into the check-in counter. You can start checking in your mobile app, use digital key to go inside. All of these industries are completely reimagined. The front and center of that is the customer experience. These applications that were developed around 40 years back, can they deliver exactly? Maybe yes. The only way you can do that is putting the wrappers around these. The true modernization and innovation comes from innovating from inside out. Here are the different approaches our customers are taking to modernize. We group them into 3 categories. Let's start with the bottom category, rehost, retain, and retire. This is where the customers keep their mainframe, try to optimize it either on the mainframe or rehosting in the third-party data centers. If you look at all the way on the top, augment, this is where you keep the mainframe and you integrate around it, where you can build APIs, integrate with your web and mobile channels, or you extract the data real time and then start building data-driven solutions on the modern cloud platform. But the 4 approaches, the refactor, replatform, reimagine, and repurchase, these are the 4 different patterns or approaches our customers choose to fully modernize and exit the mainframes. This is how we differentiate between these 3 patterns, replatform and refactor and reimagine. All these 3 patterns will help you modernize and exit the mainframes, but there is a difference between all of these. If you start with the replatform on the left, you are changing the platform from mainframe to the cloud infrastructure, but you are still keeping your application code, your COBOL, JCL, and your CI/CS emulations of it all stays as is, and your business functions also exactly same as a like for like. Then you move on to the refactor. Refactor is where you are doing a true full stack modernization. You are changing COBOL to Java, your JCL might become Groovy scripts, and all of your CI/CS transaction server become your Tomcat server, and you start using the open source technologies. That's where the refactor. But in both the cases of replatform and refactor, you are using automated tools to extract and migrate faster. But in both of these cases, you see on the top the business functions still stay as is. That's what we call as a like for like modernization. You are not changing the business operations, you are not changing the customer experience. You are only changing the platform and hardware and software stack behind it. Reimagine is where you are completely reimagining your business experiences. Both your customer experience and the business operations, you start introducing new business rules, new features, and new products. As you move from left to right, the amount of change you are introducing both to your business and your technology stack will increase. We have developed a mental model or a decision tree on when to apply these 3 patterns. When you choose refactor, when you choose replatform, and when we choose the reimagine. Let's start with the replatform. Typically, replatform is a choice when you quickly want to exit the mainframes, but you still want to retain your current COBOL and JCL skills. That's when you adapt to this pattern, you quickly exit the mainframe, but you start gaining the elasticity of the cloud and start adapting to the cloud operation models, and you start investing the savings back into modernizing again. Then when you move to the next one, which is refactor, this is where you are actually completely thinking of modernizing your software stack, where you're changing the COBOL, JCL, they become the modern Java architectures and object-oriented technologies that you start using it. And then you start introducing the APIs with this modern software stack, and you completely modernized your software stack. But reimagine is where you start introducing this pattern when your current business applications does not meet both your business operations, and the new product launches and the market new features that you are doing, as well as is not meeting your customer experience expectations. This is when you start introducing the event-driven architectures, the modern architectures, and as well as end-to-end modernization with cloud-native architectures. There are many tools available on AWS to support all of these patterns. We start off with Rocket and Unikix to supporting the replatform, then Blue Age, which is supporting the refactor, and we start introducing the GenAI to support the reimagine. The scope of today's discussion from now on will be focusing on reimagining. As you move from the left to right, the cost of executing these projects, the risk and the duration increases because you are introducing a lot of change into your environments. When you start introducing that amount of change, you really need to automate almost end-to-end of it. If you don't automate it, the projects will take longer, the chance of failure is high. And organizations typically introduce all the patterns. You really don't choose one pattern. Let's say if you have 100 million line of code with hundreds of applications, there's no one pattern that fits all. You should be able to use all of these patterns depending on the application rationalization and identifying the right pattern of choice. How do customers reimagine their applications and their business? I call this as a 3D model. It doesn't matter whether you are reimagining your business or whether you are reimagining your technology. You start off with discovering your current state, whether it is business or technology. You design for the future state, and you deliver, validate, and run. Let's apply this model for your business. First, you understand your business operations and your customer experience. Then you try to identify what are the new products and markets that you want to enter, what are the new features that you want to introduce, what is the innovation that you want to adopt, and then start thinking about what is your competitors are doing, what is your partners that you want to integrate. Then you start building the new models. Once you identify the business model, you start looking at your IT lifecycle. What is your current state of your IT applications? You reverse engineer and discover the current state, extract the business logic, identify which parts of that business logic is applicable in the new business model, and then start building the new code, new architectures, and you start migrating the applications, you test, deploy, and run. Now that you understand both sides of the world, both business transformation and IT transformation, here are the foundational building blocks to make it happen. The cloud platform, the event-driven architectures, microservices, serverless containers and machine learning, and data analytics. None of this is new. This has all been out there for last few years, and our customers has been doing it. The game changer now is GenAI. With the generative AI, you can accelerate a lot of these steps that we just discussed. Let's find out how we can do that. If you look at the entire value stream of mainframe or any other application modernization, typically this is how it starts. You first discover the current state, and you will identify your code, your data models, and your runtime logs, your functional specification documents. You feed that and start reverse engineering that application. You first generate the documentation, extract the business rules and business logic, create the technical specifications, you decompose the monolith, and then you start generating the migration wave plan. What is the sequence of migration that you want to do? Then, now that you understand current state, you decomposed your application, you understand the sequence of how you want to migrate. Now you start building the architectures for it, and you start defining the code transformation from the business rules that you just extracted, defining the target data models, migrating the data, creating the security and infrastructure layers to support that. Then you will have to test and validate. We all understand more than 50% of the migration is testing. You got to really prove that the application works and delivers for our business rules that are currently defined. And you start introducing automation through DevOps and deploying and operating. As you look at here, these are 11 individual tasks or steps that happen in this journey. I call this as a value stream. All of these 11 steps further broken down into individual tasks, subtasks, whatever we call them. There is a huge opportunity to take advantage of GenAI to break down these 11 steps, start introducing AI agents in each of them. Some of these agents are already ready and being used by some of our partners and customers. Some of these agents are in the process of developing and be ready very soon. And as for the maturity curve of the technology with both our foundational models and LLMs, you start seeing more and more agents and more these tasks are going to get automated. In order to build those agents, what are the building blocks that you need? Let's start with foundational models or LLMs. There are so many foundational models and LLMs available in the market. You should have access to most of it, especially through our AWS Bedrock. Not a single model will help you solve the end-to-end lifecycle. There are some models good at extracting the business rules. There are some models good at generating the code. Some models are good at generating the test data and automating the testing. Then these models, out of the box, do not deliver what you want. Let's take a COBOL code, cut and paste into a chat box, asks to generate business rules. Obviously, you get some output of it. Is that exactly what you want? You really need a specialized agents which are trained and fine-tuned so that you should be able to take full advantage of this so that you scale the modernization. That is the key. So you need these agents created, trained using RAG, which is retrieval augmented generation techniques, and as well as special prompt engineering, so that you provide the context and you create the domain-specific special agents. Each agent has a special task to deliver that. Some are good at extracting the business rules, some are good at transforming and generating the code, others are good at creating the test data and automating the testing. Then you start introducing the agentic framework. All of these agents working in silos will not help you scale. You need end-to-end orchestration of the agentic framework, which will help you transform this in whereas humans interacting with all these agents as in a framework kind of thing. Then the ecosystem of services and our partner solutions and as well as our third-party services available to make this happen. Now that I painted the picture, what is the art of it possible? Is this all real now? What is available? What is future? Let's find out. In order to draw the parallels, I went back and looked into which industry has transformed drastically over the last 30 years using the automation. Imagine how the cars were manufactured 30, 40 years back in an assembly line in a plant or in a factory. I have asked AWS Bedrock, which is our AWS GenAI foundational models available. I have chosen Titan as our first-party model, which is developed by AWS. This is how 40 years back cars are made. Picture may not be 100% right, but it got it pretty close. This is the assembly line. Most of the humans are manufacturing in one after another part and assembling the car. I have asked the same model, same Titan agents to help me create a model, an image, how the cars are manufactured today within these factories using automation and robotics. This is the image I received. This is pretty close to how these new electric cars and the modern plants that are currently built is being made. Difference, robots are doing repeatable tasks. These are monotonous jobs and highly productive. These cars can be continuously developed during the Thanksgiving during the holidays. They don't get tired. They can continue to do it. Humans still enjoying their work. They are creating these plans, automating end-to-end, and designing and delivering most advanced cars that you see today. Is this possible in software industry and app modernization? The reason automation evolved in cars manufacturing, those are physical objects. You can observe how things are happening. You can create the robots and automate and make it happen. But software industry and the code creation, testing is a creative job. You really need advanced agents and advanced AI models, and as well as compute that supports and amount of data that needs to absorb to create those outputs. This was not possible 5 years back, but with the advent of cloud computing, and as well as the amount of data that these models can process, and with choice of models available today, there is an opportunity to innovate and leapfrog this modernization. This is typically how we develop our software today, and as well as how we modernize. We have a group of individuals coming together and go through the software development lifecycle. Let's start with the greenfield application creation. We start with ideation, then you innovate, then you start creating the code and develop, test, and deploy and run. Let's apply the same approach for the app modernization. You first assess the monolith, reverse engineer, extract the business rules, develop the code, test, and deploy. As you can see here, 80% of the tasks in this values chain is all not so much enjoyable. How many of you here wanted to take 1 million lines of COBOL code, which was generated 30 years back with no documentation, and you want to extract the business rules? There's somebody who wants to do that. But in reality, that's monotonous. It takes longer time, probably takes months and months. If you can give that task to an AI agent, they can do that in less than a day, in few hours. And then you can continue to take those business rules and start building the modern applications. This is the new reality. The invisible engineers who are going to join part of your team, they are good at doing something, which could be extracting the business rules, could be creating the new code, could be doing test cases, test generation, or whatever. And then the human builders are guiding these AI agents, which will help you execute a certain set of tasks. But human always in the loop. This is not a magic button where you press something and something comes out on the other side. Humans are interacting with these agents. They are invisible, they are not physical objects, and you will be able to start developing and modernizing the applications. If you go back and remember the 11 different tasks that I identified, out of that, some of these tasks are already available. Some are going to get launched or released over the next few days. Tomorrow we have Matt Gorman's keynote. So some of you, if you could go in, you start learning about what is being launched tomorrow. And as well as some of our partners who are already in the room and also have ecosystem of partners available started delivering these innovation agents. With that, let me welcome Devesh onto stage to explain about Marriott digital transformation journey.
Thank you, Rao, and a very good morning to all of you here. Before we get started, let me ask you, who among you are current Marriott Bonvoy loyalty members? Awesome, awesome. Great turnout. I want to really thank you all for our premier Bonvoy loyalty members. And also, I want to thank everyone else who's not a member yet, because you are our potential customers. We are redefining hospitality for the future, and I would highly encourage you to sign up to experience hospitality at its best. Now, Over the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to walk you through one of the most fascinating digital transformation journeys that I've ever been a part of. So I would request you to brace yourself and be with me for 25 minutes, as that might change after listening to this story. Your thought process of what's possible might change. Before we get started, let me share with you a little bit about the rich history of Marriott International. It all started in 1927 when our founders, J. Willard Marriott and Alice Sheets Marriott, started a 9-seat root beer stand in Washington, D.C. From the humble beginnings, the company ventured into multiple businesses, continued to reinvent itself, and became what we know as Marriott International today. Today, we are a global leader in travel and hospitality with a set of powerful brands, which is more than 30-plus brands across 9,000 properties in 141 countries and more than 1.6 million rooms across the globe. We have an ever-increasing loyalty Bonvoy members of 219 million plus. And a little bit about myself as well. I'm Devesh Arora, and I lead the platform engineering space at Marriott International. I focus on driving innovation into everything that we do, and I currently lead the API platforms, the GraphQL platforms and products, e-commerce, generative AI, finance engineering, and above all, building the core components and accelerators that are building blocks of all software development at Marriott. I'm a technologist at heart with a passion to drive innovation towards achieving business outcomes. Next, I want to share a little bit about our strategy. At Marriott International, our purpose is to connect people through the power of travel. And we see 3 paths to win. Number 1, build the best brands and experiences. And as I shared with you, we have more than 30-plus brands across the globe. Number 2, assemble the most loyal and engaging customer base. And we have more than 219 million members today and around 700,000 associates globally that serve our guests. And number 3, be in more places. And as I shared, we have 9,000 plus beautiful properties across 141 countries and territories. The hospitality industry has always been in people serving people business, and that is not going to change. However, technology has steadily progressed from being a facilitator to the business in the past to being core to the business today. In hospitality, for several decades, since the introduction of computers, we saw a paradigm which was around software and systems being built to last. That was the most dominant design at the time. Even today, we have major hospitality companies which have central reservation systems and other systems that are built on mainframes. While that longevity is really impressive, what got us here is not going to get us there. With the seismic shifts in technology that are taking place rapidly, our industry needs a new paradigm. We need technology that is built to change and adapt to the dynamic environment as the business changes. And so, in order to realize our vision, we started on a multi-year digital and technology transformation to replace our core systems like central reservation, property management, and loyalty to a best-in-class cloud-based technology platform. But we're not stopping there. As part of this transformation, we are completely reimagining our products and redefining our digital platforms that power the right customer experiences for our guests, our associates, and our owners and franchisees. These are the 3 customer personas that we have at Marriott. Just to share the scale of this transformation, because we've all heard a lot of organizations transforming. Just to share the scale, this is the largest ever transformation in the whole of hospitality industry. From utilizing cutting-edge technologies like AI, cloud, and microservices, to utilizing and leveraging automation, IoT, and intelligent systems to build meaningful and deliver meaningful customer experiences and products. We are on a path to redefine the future of travel. To achieve this, we needed to have a very thoughtful and methodical approach to our technology architecture and patterns. And just want to mention that over decades, Marriott has always been in a constant journey of innovation. Our technology has led the industry, the hospitality industry, and that's the reason I want to share a little bit of a brief history of how our architectures have evolved over time to what it is set to become with respect to this transformation. Now, as I mentioned, we've been using mainframes for quite a while. So in pre-2000s, we had more of a hub-and-spoke architecture where our 3 systems, or the 3 core systems, central reservation, loyalty, and property management, acting as the hub. All of the enterprise applications interacted with these 3 systems in a point-to-point manner. And it's important to note that 2 among these 3 systems are on mainframes. Moving on, we continued to innovate and evolve our architecture, and in early 2000s, we transformed into more of a service-oriented based architecture. We implemented enterprise service bus, and as you might have noticed, except the 3 core systems, all of our systems were transformed to expose their services via XML either to each other or to our channels. This made our services more interoperable and abstract. Over the next decade or so, the company's size and scale grew exponentially, and so did the culture of rapid innovation aimed at delivering and meaningful and powerful customer experiences in the ever-changing marketplace. We added mobile as a new channel and adopted to a microservices-based architecture, and all of our channels and platforms and systems in the company transformed into more of a microservices-based architecture. Following the spirit of continuous innovation, most of our systems had started following cutting-edge technology patterns and architecture patterns and technologies, except our core systems, 2 of which were still on mainframes. Needless to say, we came to a point where we continuously drove and delivered innovation across the technology stack, except the mainframe systems, and we started to experience some of the challenges around mainframes that my friend Rao was talking about a little while back. And so, we could clearly realize that in order to be a leader in hospitality space, we needed to start our own mainframe modernization journey. Now, before we get to the modernization journey, let me take a quick detour into the footprint and scale of our mainframes today. We use both ZTPF and ZOS-based mainframes for our central reservation and loyalty platforms. And at scale, or at peak, we use around 48K MIPS of processing power that our CRS system uses, and with the max transactions per day of more than 400 million transactions per day and around 7,000 messages a second. And that gets us back to our case for modernization. Over 4 decades, we had written millions of lines of complex code on a monolith with lots and lots and lots of business rules. I'm sure it resonates with all of you here. It was time to change it all by defining the future. Now, as I mentioned earlier, our goal with this transformation was to completely reimagine our business processes and to fundamentally rethink our products, our business outcomes, our customer experiences, etc., rather than just lift and shift off the legacy platforms. So we kicked off transformation in a very methodical and thoughtful manner. And to start with, we started with a discovery phase. We all went to the drawing board to start about, hey, what are we going to build? And so we went through the business and technology vision, did analysis, requirement gathering, scoping, prioritization, etc. I want to stress out on this that this was a data-driven approach completely, as we wanted to make sure that we are building towards the future of our vision. Once we had the scope defined and aligned within the organization, we started with the next phase, which was more around architecture and design. In this phase, we started with a platform-based approach, wherein we defined the platform in different layers of the platform and the capabilities that belong to every layer. In parallel, we started working on reference architectures and design and started building various POCs for domains and use cases, while also defining and designing the API and integration pattern. To ensure we had a complete end-to-end automation, we revamped our automation strategy from environment creation to provisioning all of our cloud services in a matter of minutes, to improving our DevSecOps pipelines, and to effectively manage and scale our containers on EKS. And we did all this by making sure privacy and security was a first-class citizen and was worked upon right in the beginning itself and was not an afterthought. Once we had the groundwork laid out, the execution phase became much more simpler and effective. We followed scaled agile framework with a focus on continuous optimization and an MVP-based approach. With the advent of GenAI, we embraced it thoughtfully and started using it for a multitude of our use cases. This process was an iterative process, and we kept using it for different waves. Let's dig in a little more on how we got there. A part of our modernization, as I mentioned, was around mainframes, and our goal was to move towards domain-driven design approach. And to get there, we made a series of informed decisions, and one such one was build versus buy. At Marriott, we believe in buying for commodity and building for differentiation. We also went through SaaS product selection, feature mapping, and one of the most important aspects of the journey was how to define our systems of differentiation. These are the systems that give us competitive advantage in the ever-changing landscape and the dynamic landscape. We defined that, and also we started using generative AI for a multitude of use cases, starting with reverse engineering our legacy code to redefining some of our systems and platform to provide new capabilities to our customers. And based on the scope and scale that we were building for, we continued to define and refine our technology strategies and processes. At the onset, our vision was to build a platform that was nimble, composable, and pluggable. And we went about this in a very creative manner. As I shared the methodology with you earlier, when all of the teams were in discovery and analysis phase, and before any team started to write a single line of code, What we did was we started a couple of teams and platforms to start building what we call as accelerators and core components that would be used as building blocks by all teams for all software development in the company. This tremendously helped with optimizing our technology investments and avoiding any more need for all different teams to continue to reinvent the wheel. And with the tools that we got created, it improved developer productivity with a much faster speed to market. And the cherry on the top was, following this approach, we had a consistently secure security posture. And that gets us to our target state architecture that a lot of us might have been waiting for. At the bottom, here are some of the SaaS products that we use for various use cases. Right above that is our infrastructure services. And these are the services these are the foundational services that are needed to have a robust and scalable cloud and infrastructure platform for us. These include container orchestration services, networking, monitoring, observability, automation, DevSecOps, etc., and also include all of our cloud-native services that we use today. Right above this layer is the middleware services. This is where the magic really happens. This is where our systems of differentiations lie, and that provide us a competitive advantage over everybody else. Or in other words, this is where our secret sauce belongs. Some of the systems that become part of this layer are domain microservices, event hub, artificial intelligence, generative AI, machine learning, starter kits, data, ODSs, event services, and the like. Right above this lies our front-end services. These are the services that power our digital channels with capabilities such as personalization, localization, MarTech, generative AI, content services, etc., and above all, our GraphQL platform or engine is also a part of this layer. Currently, all our channels are powered by GraphQL, and GraphQL allows the right flexibility that our channel needs today. And on the top is where our channels are that all our customers, including you, interact with, and they use all the services. And I want to mention that this is all done with security in perspective. So our security is baked into everything that we do, and we take it really seriously. Along with all the transformation that we have discussed today, we've been on an artificial intelligence journey for quite a while. As part of this journey, we've incubated a cross-discipline team across the organization into what we call as a GenAI studio. The studio's mission is to empower associates, to delight guests, and to drive business value by responsible deployment of generative AI. This centralized team collaborates with carefully chosen innovation partners to ideate, test, and launch solutions that optimize internal processes and deliver enhanced customer experiences. And just to define how we went about this journey, initially, we collected hundreds of use cases across the company. We categorized those use cases into various themes. We prioritized them, and we started working them all in parallel. Currently, we are in various stages of those use cases, some being in production and others being piloted or still under development. Here are the small subset of the value that we have already delivered today, with much, much more coming, and as you'll all experience that very soon. Some of the use cases that are delivered already are NLP-based search, chatbots, travel itinerary builders, and associate-facing apps for sales, etc. Achieving business outcomes is one of the most important aspects of any transformation. Rather, without business outcomes, there's no tech for tech. So we always drive towards achieving business outcomes. And here is going to be a small subset, a very small subset of the business outcomes that we've enabled thus far with this transformation. And as I mentioned to you, we have 3 customer personas. So I'm going to share the innovations delivered per the persona. For our guests, some of the important value that we have delivered is one of them is natural language search. You will be able to experience this when you go to our Homes and Villas website, and you'll be able to experience this firsthand when you're trying to search for an interesting location to stay at for your next travel or adventure. We've also delivered improved localization, including AI-based translations. With this, we are able to roll out our products in multiple languages at a much faster pace. For our associates, among the multitude of innovations that we have delivered, some of them are automation of their manual tasks and a single pane interface for all associates to work through, and this will enable them to really focus on servicing the guests rather than spending a lot of time managing different systems that we have. And for our owners and franchisees, we are rolling out advanced analytics and reporting, improved upsell opportunities, and also kind of a retail marketplace like environment to sell additional travel products and the like. And like I said, this is just scratching the surface with what all innovations that we are delivering as part of this transformation. Last but not the least, when we go through such a massive multi-year transformation and journey, there comes a lot of learnings out of that. We were no different. Our journey was exactly the same as well. So here are some of the very small subset of learnings that we've had. And to start with, I would say, establishing a clear vision and North Star for the whole organization is extremely important. And also, it is important to be data-driven in your approach and to measure and continuously adjust the program based on what the data is telling you and how we're going. Communication and collaboration becomes a key, and I would say, hey, over-communication is important for everybody to be on the same page and going along with the same journey and in the same direction. Promoting reusability becomes so important because that helps optimize technology investments, avoid reinventing the wheel, and make sure everybody on the same page and they are using from, so that everybody, the whole organization has a consistent technology and security posture. And adopting agile with incremental and iterative approach becomes really, an MVP-based approach becomes really powerful. But there is one of them that I would want to leave with you today that will help inspire and motivate, and continuously help inspire and motivate all of your teams, and that is to celebrate milestones and achievements in every small thing that you do. Whether it's a milestone or a small or a big milestone or achievement, you got to continue to celebrate that to keep the inspiration and motivation of the team going. So that concludes my talk about the journey of Marriott, the digital transformation, a journey for Marriott. And I hope I was able to give you a sneak peek on the interesting work that we are doing around digital transformation. Now, if you have any questions or would like to talk to me further, I will be outside after this talk and we can talk further. But if you'd also like to know a little bit more about this digital transformation, I will highly encourage you to attend another session which my colleague is presenting today at around 4:30 in Venetian. His name is Adnan. Please do sign up for that session and be there. And having said that, I will pass it over to Rao. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you, Devesh. That was a truly inspiring journey, and it's a massive transformation that we heard till date. The stories like this really help AWS to motivate and innovate on behalf of our customers. So let's look at our history of innovating for our mainframe customers over the years. Around 8-9 years back, first we started observing that our customers are modernizing, migrating their applications to AWS. At the time, it was mostly our customers are doing it themselves. Some of our partners are helping them. Many of our partners start helping them migrate using various tools and technologies. As we start observing these, we started identifying repeatable patterns, solutions that we can codify and deliver for our customers. That's when we started our mainframe modernization practice. We started developing a competency program, started creating the sets of tools and practices and services that we can deliver for our customers, so that every modernization that is happening now, learn from whatever the previous modernization, so that we can continuously improve and accelerate the next modernization much faster. After that, in 2022, we launched AWS Modernization Service and Mainframe Modernization Service, which allows you to do refactor and replatform using our automation tools. Now we are introducing GenAI into this modernization, mainframe modernization. ISG has recognized AWS is the leader for AWS mainframe application modernization software. We have multiple tools and broader set of portfolio of solutions and services available to do that, and as well as the scale that we can deliver across the worldwide using our services and our processes and people. The three key pillars to make this happen is we group them as a people, product, and processes. Let's start with the technology. We discussed in depth about AWS Mainframe Modernization Service, the services and the features that it offers today and the new features that we are launching, as well as our set of competency partners. These are ISV tools that are available on our marketplace. And the people, we actually started investing into the people. We realized that mainframe modernizations are very complex, and having some set of generic architects and generic migration expertise is not good enough. You really need a people who understands how the mainframes work today, and they can really understand how the cloud technologies work, so they can help you transform. So we have hired hundreds of people across the world, build that competency, and we also started building that competency with our partners in the partner ecosystem. So we have around 12 curated set of partners who are certified and developed a competency to deliver these migration services. We have a lot of ISV partners in this ecosystem. And we started introducing the various processes that help you accelerate. Migration acceleration program is one of them. And we have developed the set of methodologies to accelerate this. And we have launched a lot of thought leadership material that you can check it out on AWS blogs and AWS prescriptive guidances to support it. So the technology, people, and process is what differentiating us. We talked a lot about GenAI agents and invisible AI engineers and assistants to support this journey and accelerating the journey. AWS has the ecosystem of GenAI services and tools, and we treat this as 3 layers. At the bottom of the layer, you will have the best infrastructure, which is highly cost effective and highly performant, which will help you generate and train your models from scratch. A lot of our leading model providers like Anthropic choose AWS as the training platforms to train their models. This is where the models are being built from scratch. Then the middle layer is where the availability of the various foundational models that is required to build these solutions. You have many models available through our AWS Bedrock. Some are first-party models developed by AWS, and as well as a lot of our third-party models from Anthropic, AI21, Meta. All these models are available through Bedrock. And you can pick and choose any model and try it out and start creating your own applications out of it. But we realized that not everybody wants to create their own models. Not everybody wants to develop their own services, applications using these models. We have launched Amazon Q family of applications. These applications support different aspects of your business. Amazon Q for business, Amazon Q in Quick Sites, and Q in Connect. But the most important is Amazon Q Developer. This Q Developer will help you develop the new applications, build and operate and test your applications and deploy them. At the same time, the same Q Developer now will help you transform these applications. And you have probably seen earlier this year or last year we launched, you can modernize your Java 8 and Java 11 applications to Java 17, where you can modernize and migrate thousands of applications in less than few days and weeks, rather than doing them manually for years and months. And the same level of automation is now being introduced into various other migrations like Mainframe that you start hearing tomorrow. These are all various sessions that are happening throughout the 4 days. Goldman Sachs and Marriott already completed, but we have many more customer-focused sessions happening that are related to Mainframe. And there are a lot of hands-on labs, workshops, builder sessions that are available where you can go sign up. There are some GenAI focused sessions. 3 of them are focused on mainframe modernization with GenAI, so please sign up. But please do not miss out tomorrow's keynote with our CEO, Matt Gorman, at 8 o'clock tomorrow. And also, innovation session with Asa Calvade, where you'll start hearing about and also look at the demo of new features being launched for Mainframe with GenAI. Modernization is a continuous journey. The tools that I have used 10 years back is different from the tools that I use today. And this is actually a really exciting time to be modernizing our legacy and mainframe applications, especially GenAI being the game changer. This is the most exciting time. We are all here to help you guide through that. Please reach out to your account teams as well as the specialists who can help you guide you through this journey. It's an exciting time to go build. Thank you all for joining this session. We really appreciate taking time out of all the choices you have. We really love your feedback. If you can open your mobile app, please give us a feedback. We really appreciate it.